Today's video is from the forest next to the ocean in the gorgeous country of Croatia. I've come here many summers to creatively reboot, and I hatched my course here. I have created so many dreams here and watched them come to fruition, so I wanted to share this beautiful place with you in today's video, and just know that while we're talking, we're looking at this. It's really appropriate because today what I want to talk to you about is one of the things nearest and dearest to my heart. I would say it's arguably the number one thing that changed my life as a creator, an artist, a coach, an entrepreneur. If you identify with any of those, or like me, all of the above, this one thing is the thing that really changed the trajectory of my life. And the more that I lean into it, the more I get to see the beautiful, beautiful rewards of it. And I want to share it with you today. So, what is that one thing? I call it the story you were born to tell. Now, if you're someone who thinks of yourself as a brand, let's say you're already operating as like a creative service provider, or you're an artist and you have a brand, then you will probably catch on to this a little bit more quickly because you might not have resistance about thinking of yourself as a brand. If you don't yet think about yourself as a brand, that's totally cool. I spent a lot of years resisting the idea of being a brand, or getting too hyper-focused and over-obsessed with like trying to make my brand great. The easiest way to think about yourself as a brand is to just think of certain aspects of your personality, your values, things that you appreciate in the world, certain colors you love, certain design elements, certain ideas, all grouped together as your brand. And the reason why I really encourage all creators to think of themselves as a brand is because it actually gives you the space as a human being, as a creator, an entrepreneur, a coach, to not feel like you actually are the brand. You are the brand, but it gives you a little bit of breathing space to just step away from the brand to be able to look at this thing that you're building. I think that's really missing in today's creator economy. Everybody will tell you, you're the brand, you're it. And we're gonna talk today in this video about how your story and your life is the brand, but thinking about yourself as a brand allows you to have just a little bit more creative distance. Think about like making something visual, a painting or a collage, and if you're super up close to it, it's like you almost can't see. It's pretty overwhelming. But if you step back and you can see this collection of different things that you love, things that you've gathered, things that you've put together, it gives you that perspective, and it also gives you the freedom to change out some of the images without having to have a total identity crisis or be way too up close to it that you can't even have peace of mind. So that's my number one tip for you. First of all, if you are a creator, artist, entrepreneur, coach, whatever you call yourself, are you thinking about yourself as a brand? Do you have resistance to thinking about yourself as a brand? And if so, that's totally okay, but just take note of that, because you might be missing out on having this really healthy relationship with the brand, and we're going to talk more about that in today's video and in the videos to come. The story you were born to tell is what I would call your brand story. And the reason why having a brand story is really important as a creator, coach, artist, entrepreneur. How many times can I say that? Creator, artist. I just say creators, okay? If you're a creator, you're all of the above or whatever it is, but you're a creator. If you are a creator and you don't know the story you were born to tell, you don't know your brand story, you're gonna get a really mixed bag of responses. You're gonna get a mixed bag of fans, a mixed bag of clients, a mixed bag of partners, because people don't know what your brand is, so they don't know how to partner with your brand. And then you're probably going to start telling yourself disempowering stuff about your brand, like that you're not a good enough creator, or your stuff isn't good, or there's no place in the market for you. And all of that is literally factually not true. I went through it for years, and I've spent the past few years understanding how easy it can be once you truly lock into your brand story, the story you were born to tell. So let's get into that. The easiest way to think about this is a really funny analogy that I like to use. So imagine you walk into the supermarket and you see a bunch of different soap in the soap aisle. And then there's a few different ones that catch your eye, and it's because of the packaging, and then it's because the ingredients. And ultimately, all 5 of these remaining soaps are the same. They have pretty much the same ingredients. They all have pretty cool packaging. But then let's say you pick up one and you turn it over and you read just 2 or 3 lines on the back about the soap, the person who made it, how they made it, and why they made it. And all of a sudden you think, this is for me. Like this soap was made for me. It's the same soap. It has the same ingredients. It also has cool packaging like the other ones. Why did you connect with it? Because of the story. Because the person who literally wrapped their story around this product, they knew the story they were born to tell, and that connected with you. It became a magnetic force. And that's what knowing the story you were born to tell is. It's a magnetic force. It's your magnetic force. And when you really harness that, you'll start to get people reaching out that you don't even have to promote to. They just find you and they want to connect with you because you're radiating that story out into the world. So let's take one of my favorite soap examples, Dr. Bronner's. If you know Dr. Bronner's, you'll get it. If you don't, look it up. It's an amazing soap brand and ultimately literally has a story wrapped all over the soap. So when you pick up the soap, it has writing in all different ways, and it's like a fun treasure hunt to find out what the story is, because some of the writing is small. Then you open the soap, there's more writing inside of it, and the story is a beautiful story about a man who really cares about his family and his family values, and he also cares about equal, ethical, sustainable sourcing of the ingredients. So he has partnerships in developing countries with different people who supply the ingredients in his soaps. He does the same thing with his chocolate. He literally wraps his story around his product. And that's what I want you to think of today as we're speaking about you. Whether you are a digital brand or a virtual brand, or you're someone who works at a company and you're looking for a promotion in a creative company, or you're looking to get repped by an agency, I want you to think about that idea of wrapping your story, your brand story, around your product, if it's a product you provide or if you yourself as an artist are the product. And now I want you to take a moment to just think and ask yourself, what is the story that you have been wrapping around this product? Have you been meeting people with a very clear sense of exactly who you are, what got you here, why you do what you do, why what you do is different to anyone else, and how you can provide this beautiful value or service or artistic offering in a way that nobody else can? And if you're not clear, that's okay. That's why we're here. And if you feel clear, but you also notice that you're not really fully getting the results that you're looking for example, people don't seem to be connecting to you, or the people that are connecting to you don't really feel like your people, then what we're going to talk about today is really going to benefit you. So, the story you were born to tell. The easiest way to talk about the story you were born to tell is to tell you that whatever it is in your life that you think is keeping you back, holding you down, hijacking your life, the stuff that you're like, if I could just fix this, if I could just make this stuff go away, if I could just get this stuff out of my life, then I could live my life. I'm here to tell you that that stuff is your life. It's the key to your life. It is the messy mess that is the key to your message. And that is the story that you were born to tell. Now, if you look below, you're going to see a link to a free webinar replay. And we went for an hour all the way in to the story that you were born to tell, really looking at the method and the strategy that I use, which is a really simple 4-step strategy, and you can use it to do literally everything. I said you can use it to launch a business or host a taco party with your friends. And when you get in that webinar, you're gonna see how simple it is, and also how much you've probably been sending mixed messages out to your creative community or your audience or whatever it is. So that's my invitation to you today, is to first of all just ask yourself, are you operating as a brand? Do you feel comfortable with that? And if not, how can you look at switching that up a little bit? And then second of all, instead of feeling like you have to create some perfect airtight brand story that's going to work for all the other people that are judging you, bring yourself back to this space of understanding that all the imperfect parts of you and all the very human things you've gone through are actually the perfect elements of a brand story. A lot of the people who have come into my program remind me so much of where I was. And if this is you, I just want to speak to you for a second. I was so sure that I had so much value to provide, and I knew that so much was possible for me. But I just felt like putting all the pieces together to really stand in my own sustainable brand that could bring in income, that could be my own full-time life, just felt like it almost felt irresponsible. It felt kind of crazy and ridiculous, because I felt like I had to become the perfect finished person with a huge, expensive paid team in order for that to ever be a good idea. And I want you to understand that when you watch this webinar, you're going to see why that's not at all true. And you can start actually magnetizing and generating so much revenue and lots of incredible clients and collaborations and community just by knowing the story that you were born to tell. And then in next week's video, we're going to talk about using a similar format to create your most magnetic offers, services, art, whatever it is that you provide. Check out the webinar. Hit me up if you have any questions, and thanks for spending time with me today. We gotta slow